What is up, Mets fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Mets'd podcast. Another sweep. I love a nice sweep, and especially when you play what could be the worst team in Major League Baseball history in the Colorado Rockies. It's nice to just simply take care of business. Friday was a little bit dicey, a little bit hairy at times, but they got the win. And then Saturday and Sunday, there was not an ounce of worry. There was not a second of doubt. The Mets took care of business and beat this shit out of an awful team. So we're going to go over all the stuff. We're not going to give the Rockies an ounce past this. We're just going to talk about the Mets because there's nothing to talk about on the other side. And with the Mets, there were a lot of really cool and interesting things. So we'll go through all the games. We'll go through all the cool stuff as we always do. Remember to subscribe to the Mets'd Podcast YouTube channel if you have not yet done so for the video version of this. If you're listening to us, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, drop us a rating, drop us a review, download, and subscribe. Where do you want to start, James? I mean, for starting Friday, probably Kodai Senga, right? I mean, this guy's just kind of so good.
Objectively, Friday was an amazing baseball game. Keith said it tons of times on the broadcast. I know a lot of Mets fans don't want to call it like a stressful game against what, like you said, might be the worst team in the history of baseball, like a good game. But it was a great game. Like there was tons of tense moments. There was drama. There were multiple plays at the plate. There were big hits on both sides. Like there was good duels. There was good defense. Like that was a great game. But it did start with Senga, who after that game on Friday and now has the lowest ERA in the National League, which is incomprehensible to say. And just somehow he just continues to keep getting away with it, finding his way into trouble, and every single time getting his way out of it.
I think we were talking about it yesterday on Saturday when we were at the bar because we were talking about Kodai. We're like, this guy really is just such a freak. And he's going on, I'm going to pull up the tweet here about like consecutive starts in a row with 3 earned runs or less. And I think he's going on 30 in a row, which is kind of insane in that there's only a couple guys.
Since 2023.
Yeah, since 2023, basically, that he's gone in a row where he's allowed 3 or less earned runs. I'm going to find the tweet exactly. But at some point, like, when do we start talking about Kodai Senga like we do other, like, top pitchers in baseball? I know, like, on this podcast, we've talked about that things haven't been perfect yet for Kodai. Like, he's not pitching his best, and this is what's happening. Is he just simply, like, one of the 15, 20 best pitchers in baseball?
He also keeps doing it in different ways, which is something I've really tried to harp on this season, talking about Kodai in this show, just because, like, this start on Friday, Kodai threw the highest rate of ghost forks he's ever thrown to start in his career at 47%.
I've got the stat, by the way.
Yeah, get the
Most
stat.
consecutive starts of 3 earned runs or fewer allowed in Mets history, courtesy of Matthew Searle. And he said Jacob deGrom 40, 2019 and 2022. Jacob deGrom 31, 2018 to 2019. Kodai Senga 2023 to present, 29 starts in a row of 3 earned runs or fewer. That is tied for Doc Gooden with the 3rd most ever in Mets history. That's insane.
That's insane. But again, this was also different every single time. This was only the 4th. Is it the 5th? What's that? It's the April 25th. The 5th time in Kodai's career where the ghost fork was most thrown pitch in a game. And again, the most he's ever thrown in one game at 47%. And the Rockies were still just flailing at it left and right. 14 swings and misses on it, and he used it to get out of a lot of jams because there were a lot of jams for Kodai. Runners reach base every inning, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and he got his scoring position for half of those. There was some major magic to get out of that leadoff triple by Ryan Ritter to get out of that with no earned runs in the 5th. That was when the game was already 1-0. Great play by Pete Alonso at first base. But also the way this game started, a great note from Gary. This was the first time a Met had ever retired the first 7 batters in a game in Coors Field since the Mets have been playing games in Colorado. So again, it's just there's always like multiple starts inside of Kodai Senga starts. They can like fuse together into one, but it's so cool to see the way he operates and to see the way that he sees the game. To see, like, he's such a fun pitcher to watch, especially in a game like this where it did feel tense for most of this game. Mets didn't score a run until the 7th inning. Like if he would have let some of those innings get out of hand, and again there were guys on base 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, guys running for runners in scoring position for like half of that time. Like this might not be a game you're actually able to pull through at the end and win because it was a game where you won on the margin. So he's become the ace of the staff. I think we're comfortable saying that now. Like he's definitely the guy. Like he's the stopper every 5th day. You can rely on Kodai Senga giving you a very, very good start. And it even makes it bittersweet looking back based on the things this team was able to do last season without him. Because now seeing how it is with him, that he's actually really somewhat been the linchpin of this team as we have the best record in the National League now, sitting here on June 9th when you guys are listening to this podcast. Happy 6-9 to everyone out there. it is just he's the guy right now. We said this going into the season. Like, if you got to tell me who's the most important Met, I know it's a very easy argument for Pete Alonso based on what he's done at the plate. But besides Pete, who's actually putting up real league MVP numbers, it is Kodai Senga.
Yeah, he's been immensely, immensely valuable to this team, to this staff. What he's been able to do in his 68 innings of pitching so far this season has been incredible. Again, he has the lowest ERA in the National League, the best ERA plus in the National League. He's striking guys out. He's going 6 innings into games, which is so massive with this team in this bullpen.
Every game.
I really think, especially because how last year was with him, where he came back late and then the playoff production was a little bit sketchy because, of course, he came back and just was thrown into the playoffs. Like, hey, pitch big innings. People started to doubt him a little bit, and maybe even ourselves included going into the season. But he has been so incredibly good. He keeps this up. He's going to be on the All-Star team for the Mets without a doubt.
Could be the second or third guy in that game, depending how the days work out. There's also career high in pitches thrown for Kodai, 109. And this was right after when he got through that 6th inning. Again, fought through trouble, got through it. Right after a top of the 6th inning, when it was one of the worst Met sequences, I think, of the entire season, where the bases were loaded for the trio, the ones who were once upon a time dubbed the Baby Mets, in Brett Baty, Francisco Alvarez, Ronnie Mauricio. Baty did get kind of screwed on 2 pitches that were out of the strike zone, but Baty, Alvarez, and Mauricio in a game where you're being shut out by the Rockies in Coors Field, all 3 of them struck out with the bases loaded, and that was a low point. I do give a lot of credit for Kodai for coming back out the bottom of that inning, shutting down the Rockies again, and that being the little piece of momentum that set the table for Pete Alonso to have the go-ahead double in the 7th.
Yeah, thankfully for Baty, he's playing such good defense in the field right now. But it is funny how, like, I know he hit the home run on Sunday, but as soon as he gets a little bit of playing time consistently, we've mentioned it now a couple times, he was like, can't hit anymore, won't do it, not interested. As soon as there's a little bit, and even on Sunday, Ronnie Mauricio, Saturday, maybe the best game of his season so far on Saturday.
Yeah.
Brett Baty hits a home run on Sunday. It's like you just gotta get him a little bit uncomfortable, and all of a sudden Brett Baty like wakes up and is like, oh shit, that's right, I have to earn this spot again.
And we warned that the Brett Baty inevitable cold streak was going to come again, just because of how low his in-zone contact rate is and how low his walk rate is, and the strikeout rate still being relatively high. The one thing that's amazing to me, though, as the Mets try to work through this, I'm going to say, like, I don't think it's a log jam, but by I don't know, it's a fun talent predicament the Mets have to kind of figure out on the fly with a good team if any of these guys are really good enough to stick and be starters for a long time. It's cool that as Carlos Mendoza is making these decisions day in, day out, that Ronnie's the guy who's playing third base and Brett Baty's the guy who's playing second base. Like, that's a kind of an incomprehensible thing to think about, even if you just went back a year to think about where these Mets guys were and now where they are.
Yeah, it says a lot about how the Mets view Brett Baty. I'm not going to talk about him as a hitter, but as a baseball player, as a guy in the field. They're like, this guy feels like Carlos Mendoza thinks he can kind of put him anywhere at this point, and he'll be comfortable. That, like you said, playing him at second base over Ronnie when Ronnie's been playing second base in the minors and might have gone into this year maybe as a favorite to be the second base if he was healthy. And Brett Baty's getting the reps there while he's playing third base is something that I did not have on my bingo card this season.
And Brett Baty this season, in terms of OAA, is +2 at second base and +2 at third base. And he's +2 at second base in about a third of the total attempts.
He's going to be a Gold Glove, like a legitimate Gold Glove finalist for utility right now.
Yes, like that's where he's gone. So that's why we keep saying Brett Baty. If he could just hit enough to be league average, like, that's changed everything for him. I mean, Ronnie does too, and we saw the tools. But before we talk more about Ronnie, just a quick mention to Francisco Lindor on Friday night. Being the hero with a broken toe, coming off the bench, and being just lacing a double in the 9th inning to take the lead, then immediately getting the call, going back into the dugout with that same broken toe. It's just that was such a cool moment as a fan, because we were a little worried going after last episode about Francisco Lindor, and we were both advocating, being like, not a bad time, just chill out, man, just take a couple days off, stay off that foot. And he's like, fuck that, like, I'm Francisco Lindor, like, I play. And there was also a conversation happening on Sunday with Gary and Keith about Lindor, 1, starting for the second game in a row, but 2, continuing to play the field, playing shortstop on that broken toe and hitting leadoff. And it's like, you figured he would just take a day at DH. Like, DH spot's rotating right now. You might as well. And Keith's like, if he's going to play, he's going to play. You got to play both sides of the ball if you're going to play. And I don't know. It's awesome it's just so cool how good he is.
Such a dog. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that made us so excited about Francisco Lindor all those years ago, and the Mets initially brought him in. He is one of the best players in baseball. He is unbelievably clutch. He plays every single day. It's almost hard to get him to not play a game. Like you said, he broke his toe. And he was like,
It's still broken.
Get me in. It's still broken. He's like, get me in the game. We need a big hit. I got you. Hold my beer. I hear his music. Oh, here he is. Francisco Lindor comes up, hits the double down the line. And then also, Pete Alonso. What a slide. Yeah. What a slide by Pete in this game, too. That was incredible. Like, it's really, really nice to see the full scale of, like, now where Francisco Lindor is in terms of, like, the Mets fan base and how he's ingratiated himself as just one of the great Mets of all time already.
Which is crazy to think about, because also we got this weekend just to make Mark and James and the rest of the Mets fans out there feel old. Like Pete Alonso passing David Wright in home runs. That's a fucked up thing. We're going to talk about Pete a lot more later on. Amazing even to look at Francisco Lindor's stat line right now. We're just a bit more than a third of the way through the season, about 40% of the way through. A notorious slow starter, has 14 homers, 13 stolen bases. 2 of those bases he stole on Saturday with the broken toe, and a 280, 350, 490 triple slash for an 840 OPS. Like those are slightly better than the stats he ended last season with. And last season, we were all like, this is one of the best seasons of this guy's entire career. So it's cool at 31 years old, right after I talk about being a bit worried about his progression.
Incredible.
How amazing he hits. But I want to talk about Ronny Mauricio now.
Yes.
I think that there's a fun discussion to have here, because in Ronny Mauricio's 4 games since he's gotten called up, we've had the entirety of the Ronny Mauricio experience, where he went 0 for 11, bang, off the bat after getting called up. And then finally Friday night, he breaks through with a rocket to left center field, where it looks like it's 25 rows deep, stares at it from home plate. But of course, Coors Field being the league with the most, the biggest outfield in baseball, it was a home run, 29 out of 30 parks to 1, not a home run being Coors Field. Ronnie winds up sauntering into second base for the double. We don't drive him in, but then you kind of feel the confidence building. Then he goes apeshit nuclear Saturday night. He hits one of the longest home runs I've ever seen in my life, 450 feet into the third deck of the right field stands in Colorado. Then 2 innings later, he clanks the ball off his hands at third base. Then he has another really good game on Sunday. And it's just like, no matter what Ronny Mauricio becomes, I know it's going to be fun to watch him get there.
If you're one of those on-the-go people, or you're skipping meals but you don't want to, there's got to be a quicker solution. We've got one for you. It's called Huel. I'm going to take a swig. Cheers to Huel. This is the black edition, plant-based as well. Good for me. But what do you like about it?
I like the nutrition of it, and the replacement meal is great for me. Someone always on the go. Like, man, I can just grab one of these out of my fridge, lunch, breakfast, whatever it takes. Whatever meal I'm not going to have time to eat, it fills me up, and it tastes great. You know why? Because it tastes like milkshake, ice cream, whatever you want to call it, whatever flavor you get is delicious.
35 grams of protein, 6 grams of fiber, 27 vitamins and minerals, low sugar. You can get yourself 15% off plus a free gift for new customers using the exclusive FT code FOUL, F-O-U-L, at Huel.com/FOUL. Please see our description for terms and conditions. Skip the stress, not the nutrition. Try Huel today for complete nutrition, bottled.
Well, this is like the kind of player that we used to joke about all the time when we first started this podcast that the Mets need more of. Like, just give me a guy who does elite things, but like maybe not that consistently. Like, we'd be like, get guys who hit the ball hard, get guys who run fast, get guys who throw hard. Like, those are all elite things that it doesn't really matter how much baseball you play. That's just something you either can or cannot do. And Ronny Mauricio does a lot of those things. And like you said, when he booms, it's boom. It's amazing. It's incredible. It's so good. When he busts, you're like, oh, okay, maybe not that phrasing either. But I've done that like 3 straight episodes, every single episode. But when Ronny Mauricio's profile is not the boom, it's the opposite of that. You're like, oh my God, I don't really know what we're doing. How do we handle this? Like, where is that player? But at the same time, the boom is it's such a high ceiling with that boom that now this brings up the interesting conversation of who do you keep on this roster? Because it's him. There's kind of 5 guys all fighting for spots right now.
Yeah.
Whenever Mark Vientos gets healthy, he's one of them. But you have Vientos, Mauricio, Beatty, Acuna, Starling, Marte, which sounds insane because one of those is not like the other. But that's truthfully what it is. And it's like if Mauricio and Beatty are the choice, that pushes out Acuna and Vientos and Marte because maybe, well, not necessarily all 3 of them, but then Vientos becomes a DH guy. So then him and Marte are fighting for it. Marte's hitting better than Vientos is and has all season long. He deserves that playing time. Like, this is a fun problem, I guess, to have, but also something that I think, have to get very, very like locked in on soon here because it's coming up. When Vientos gets back healthy, there is a legitimate roster crunch problem with guys who are all Major League Baseball players.
Yeah, glut. But I do still think we have more time until Vientos gets back healthy. I mean, I think he's
He pulled
just no
his
baseball
hamstring,
activity.
right?
So no baseball activity for 2 weeks, then probably a 10-day rehab
So
assignment.
probably like
not
July.
Probably 4th of July is when we can expect Mark Vientos back. But that is enough time for where there's this combination mostly because it's always going to come down to player options. You're not getting nothing's going to happen to Starling Marte and Mark Vientos. They're going to be on this team all year no matter what. And shout out Billy Epler for losing Mark Vientos' first option. In a year we definitely didn't have to do that. But it's going to really come down to Acuna and Mauricio, and both of these guys are boom and bust, and they give you very different skill sets, but also guys who can very easily get either super hot or super cold very quickly, like we've seen with both of them already, like we've seen with Mauricio in under a week of Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Acuna last year carried the Mets when Lindor went down for a week, the rare time. Acuna saved the season. There's no doubt we were not in the playoffs without Luis Angel Acuna stepping in, playing shortstop like he did, hitting home runs. But he's been horrible this year. He's not been good, especially over the last month. The numbers are shockingly bad. His OPS starts with a 5 now. Like that's not playable at the rate that he was, and especially with how well Jeff McNeil's playing. Ooh, it's tough to get a guy like that in the lineup as much as he needs to be in the lineup.
And the Mets in Sunday's game definitely wanted to get Ronnie Mauricio in the lineup because he DH'd. So now in a 3-game series against Colorado Rockies, Ronnie Mauricio played 3 different positions. He played shortstop, third base, DH, which is rare that someone will play shortstop and also DH within a 3-game stretch. But again, this is the Ronnie Mauricio experience. And something else cool that happened. Again, we love the 415-foot double. We love the 450-foot home run, 110 miles an hour. We love that he had another late single in this game on Sunday. Him drawing 2 walks is what's going to be the important thing. Because Ronnie Mauricio, the whole problem is that while it's some of the best physical tools in baseball, I'll go out there and say that because there's not that many 6'5", 200-pound aliens who can actually play, who can handle middle infield with cannons for arms when they connect with the ball that goes 450 feet. It's just still going to be some of the worst swing decisions we're going to see, which is similar issues sometimes when he's going poorly to Luis Angel Acuna. But if Ronnie Mauricio can have any growth whatsoever in that area, which he didn't in AAA while he was crushing the ball. I know everyone's really excited about the production, but it was still swinging everything out of strike zone, over 40% chase rate in the minor leagues, which is untenable. That tells you could be about 50, and it's been about 40 through the games on Sunday. Haven't updated for Sunday yet, but it's just he's on that line where if you make enough contact, you can be a stud. He has star potential, I think, more so than these other guys. But the floor is lower because when he's missing, he misses everything, and pitchers kind of take advantage of him. We saw him when he was 0 for 11, swing at every single breaking ball that was in the dirt against him. That's his weak spot. Soft stuff low in the zone. When he gets the fastballs high, he'll murder them. But I have a funny comp for Ronnie Mauricio. As a switch-hitting infielder who's going to be a boomer bust power profile, can never see him running more than a 310, 315 on-base percentage. And this player, I think production-wise, can really mirror what Mauricio can do. In appearance, not even a little bit. Couldn't find a more opposite sized player in baseball. And this is one of your favorites. This is going to be crazy to say out loud. I didn't tell you this bowling today because I wanted you to say this for the podcast live reaction. Ozzie Albies.
Whoa.
As someone who, again, is a switch hitter,
not a
significantly better from the right as the left side. I'm pretty sure Mauricio's much better from the right than the left. I'll double check that now. I think I remember that. But Ozzie Albies got through as a very productive player through the middle of his career in a great lineup, while only running these 310, 305 on base percentages. Never really had any of the advanced stuff, but the tools were amazing, and the power production for what he was is amazing. And even though Mauricio is about a foot taller than Ozzie Albies, like that is the profile of player I see here, and one that I think can be an interesting path to forge for him.
I mean, shit, I love calling Ozzie Albies overrated, but I'll take him on my baseball team playing second base every single day. Like, he is a good ball player. He has a ton of value. If Ronnie Mauricio, in theory, is ever like Ozzie Albies, Mets are cooking. Like, we're feeling really fucking good about that. That would be an amazing scenario. I get what you're saying, though. Like, it is just...
I think Mauricio's splits might be opposite. I think I was thinking about pitcher hands, not hitter hands. I think he's better as a left-handed batter against right-handed pitching, which is a much better split to be good at.
Correct. Yeah, Ozzie Albies is a much better right-handed hitter.
Yes, which is a big problem for Ozzie Albies right now. But I do think that's the best happily I think we can expect, which is make an all-star team or two. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like it'll still be the 110 WRC pluses. It'll still be like the 740 OPSs. But the path, like we started this whole segment to get there, will be the most fun pathway to a 740 OPS you could ever imagine.
Yeah, 450-foot home runs and flashy plays and hitting nukes. Like, that sounds fun to me.
Like, we were watching Saturday with our buddy Drew. Shout out, Not the Expert on YouTube. You guys check out the Panda series where Mark and I are stars in the batting order there. But he was like, wow, that guy's a freak. Who is that? It's like the only reason Ronnie Mauricio is not a football player is because he didn't grow up in America. Like this guy could be flagging down touchdowns up the sideline. Like he's that much of a freak. And he got swag, got the dangly earring. Like he's smiling, he's laughing. Like there's so much here with Ronnie Mauricio, but it's going to be such a long pathway to get to that just because of how bad the swing decisions are.
Should we talk about the other position battle right now on this team that feels extremely obvious?
Love
Francisco Alvarez versus Luis Torrens. Now, Alvarez hit a 450-foot home run today on Sunday, which was nice to center field, but still not pulling the baseball, still not getting almost any production out of him. He did have a good day on Sunday, but still, it's just, you watch him, and we've seen Alvarez when he's working. We've seen when he's good. We've seen when he's right. This is not, something's wrong. Something's wrong with Francisco Alvarez. And it brings up the question of, when Luis Torrens is playing as well as he is, and Francisco Alvarez is playing as poor as he is, especially with the defensive prowess that Luis Torrens has, Alvarez has actually been pretty solid this year, but Torrens is for sure better.
Yeah.
We probably got to just play him more, right? I think Torrens needs to be the starting catcher per se right now.
And I also don't think that's as dirty a phrase as some Mets fans are making it out to be. Like, I don't think that's a disaster. Like we say in this podcast a lot, but truthfully, Francisco Alvarez shouldn't have come to the major leagues when he did.
No.
I know he had that great rookie season 2023 and a totally wasted year where he hit the 25 home runs and there were a lot of exciting moments and he dragged that OPS to around 700. But looking back, it was so bizarre that for him to be rushing this way because no other catchers are. Even right now, after the third year of his career, he's still one of the youngest starting catchers in the league. Cal Raleigh has all the publicity right now as becoming the best catcher, one of the best players in baseball. When Cal Raleigh was 23, Mark, you know what level he was playing at?
I'm going to say high A.
He had played 39 games at Double-A right before the 2020 season was wiped away. And now Cal Raleigh, at 28, 29, is hitting his stride because catching is really fucking hard. And I do think that Mets fans, baseball fans, sports fans in general, even when things are going well, you kind of need a scapegoat. You kind of need a pariah. Yeah. You just need something to complain about. So right now it happens to be Francisco Alvarez, despite the fact that he's still the youngest catcher in baseball. But I don't think it should be a bad thing to say that maybe he just now gets 40% of the playing time and Luis Torrens gets 60 rather than the other way around, just because of how well the other guy's playing.
No problem with that. 55, 45, like whatever it is. I think,
okay.
Yeah, I think right now Torrens is hot. Torrens is playing well. These things will even out. There's going to be a time where Luis Torrens does get cold for sure, and you're going to be like, all right, Francisco Alvarez, step in. When given those opportunities, he needs to play better. Looking at his swing again, it's a disservice what Eric Chavez has done to him and making him hit this way and closing him. He can't pull baseballs. He's incapable of pulling the baseball right now for any sort of power. Even the hit he got the other night or the other day, he like blooped it in because he kind of got jammed. Like he's not able to turn on baseballs, and that's when he was at his best. His daddy hacks, he's late because he's got his shoulder closed off. Like I don't know how we're still trying this experiment with this failed batting stance and this horrible, horrible hitting philosophy that he has.
Yeah, we did a lot of bat tracking data a few episodes ago, and we had the episode how to fix the Mets hitting. Francisco Alvarez's attack direction has gone from pull, with 3 degrees in the pull direction, which is very normal. Mostly guys pull the ball. That's the way they attack and do the most damage. It's now a 7-degree oppo. That is, just from perusing this, never seeing that leaderboard, it's one of the most extreme oppo attack directions I've seen for any hitter in all of baseball this year. And you could see it very clearly that he has a shorter swing, a slower swing, and he's just making its worst quality of contact since 2023, a slow progression downwards. And it doesn't seem like it's going to get better soon. I do hope that we do know now that, as Anthony DeComo so eloquently put it, his partner is due for a baby soon. Hayden Senga was with the team in Colorado. It looks like there's a good chance that Alvarez misses a game or two of this upcoming Nationals series. So maybe just, again, his partner having a baby, that can ease his mind a little bit, take some stress off his plate. We've seen this happen with guys like Francisco Lindor and Brandon Nimmo in the past. Jeff McNeil, when your partner is pregnant, things are stressful, has the baby, lets a huge load off your shoulders. Maybe we're hoping that helps Francisco Alvarez.
Yeah, he could be stressing. We have no idea. Maybe he's just like, oh my God, I'm so worked up right now about this whole baby nonsense.
Yeah. And shout out to all the people that were so worked up over Anthony DeComo's use of the word partner, because this woman is not Francisco Alvarez's wife. We don't know if it's his girlfriend. And I applaud Anthony DeComo for not using the phrase baby mama in his tweet.
Because
that was the only other option. That was the only other option there. So I love that people get pissed off about stuff like that. Otherwise, just trying to wrap this series up. Got to talk about Klay Holmes a little bit if we go back to Saturday. This guy is so damn good.
So good.
2.95 ERA in the season. And he's gone 6 innings in 7 of his last 9 starts. The only 2 he did not complete 6 innings one of those, that bullshit Nationals game where they made him pitch for 20 minutes and have a half-hour rain delay. And then that Memorial Day start against the White Sox, where he clearly had nothing and got taken out 5 2/3 innings with the bases loaded for Budo to clean up the mess. So it's just every time he goes out there, he gives us a great chance to win. There's now back-to-back starts for Klay Holmes with no walks after that White Sox game where the command was erratic and really weird, especially being in Coors Field, because we always know that going to Coors Field, it makes breaking balls especially move differently, move less most often. So the biggest game for his sliders all season. His sweeper and his slider combined for 60 of 90 of his total pitches. Between the two of them, 15 whiffs, and really cool to see how much, I've been talking about a lot in the show, the gyro sliders come back over his last few starts to be a real piece, a real weapon. Something I thought coming into the season would be something he used a lot against left-handed batters. Didn't early, and I guess in this start, he didn't have much of a feel for the changeup. So that slider came back, and it just had great downward action. It was darting below the zone many times. It was awesome to see how effective that pitch was.
He's just a good pitcher. Like, he is a very, very good starting pitcher. Shout out to David Stearns, Hefner, Yeagers, everybody identifying him as a guy who would make a good starting pitcher. The contract's looking phenomenal right now on the pace that it's at, where we're getting 7 of his last 9 starts, 6 innings, like you said, an ERA below 3. He just went into Coors. The one weird thing is he keeps giving up home runs, and I'm not really sure how.
Yeah, one to start, exactly.
Yeah, gives up a home run to start, and they're solo shots pretty much, so it doesn't really do that much damage. But he's really, I feel very, very comfortable with him on the mound. Not something that I ever expected to say in my lifetime. I feel comfortable with Klay Holmes starting games for the New York Mets.
It's a shame you never listened to me, because I was incredibly comfortable from the second that signing happened. But
you
also
were confident. Were you comfortable?
Yes, I was super comfortable. I was super confident. I was pumped about this. And this was actually the repertoire I thought we'd see much more often from Klay Holmes, but not to this extreme. But again, that gyro slider, which we were in the ballpark last Sunday against the Rockies, I was like, damn, he's using that a lot. It was 71% of his pitches against left-handed batters in this game. Wow. Again, he only threw 24 total pitches to lefties, because I don't think the Rockies have enough players to actually go for platoon advantages and whatnot. So it was 17 out of 24 pitches, but it's cool that similar to Kodai Senga, I really think that this is so much about the types of pitchers the Mets went out and got this offseason, what types of pitchers they've gotten the last few offseasons that are willing to work with Jeremy Hefner and are able to work in this way that is very, what's the word I'm looking for here? Something that starts with a C. Collaborative, where you're willing to try new things in this start and that start to see what works and see what you're feeling to get through that game. It's like every time these Mets pitchers take them out, we see something different. Those wrinkles are incredible.
This one's easy for us to talk about. I'm a huge fan of Hungry Root. They're delivering groceries that we want and groceries that we didn't know we want, but we want.
Oh yeah, they every box that I get from Hungry Root has a new snack in it that I'm like, oh, this looks interesting, and then I try it, and I'm like, oh, I might need some more of those. So they're great at not only getting the groceries you want, but they surprise you with tasty little treats that you didn't know you needed.
Agreed. Turkey jerky. There was like a chocolate pudding thing where I'm like, I'm not a big chocolate pudding fan, then I have it, and I'm like, this is awesome. So they can cater to your needs. You got gluten-free, or you're looking for a certain diet that you want to fulfill, or there are certain items that you love. They learn along with you. You let them know your preferences. They just nail it. Take advantage of the exclusive FT offer, please. For a limited time, get 40% off your first box, plus get a free item in every box for life. Go to hungryroot.com/FT. Use code FT. That's hungryroot.com/FT, code FT, to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life.
Can I talk to you about one of the least liked Mets players on this roster right now?
I'd love to.
Can I talk about my boy Jeff McNeil?
Talk about him.
I mean, he's so back. He's so back. I love this new version of Jeff McNeil.
But I'll say, did he ever leave?
Not really. He did technically. Like he left for like a year, I would say, because he did have like a shitty year in 2023. He wasn't really playing that well. But 2024, we know that the start of the season was poor. The second half was great. Start of the season in 2024, first half. Where are these numbers real quick? First half, 591 OPS. Second half, 923 OPS in 41 games. So far this season, he's got an 888 OPS, I think, as of right now, through 105 at-bats on the season. And that's, 35 games? So his last 80 games or so, Jeff McNeil's been a 900 OPS playing guy on the New York Mets. And we know that first half, he had that elbow injury from spring training. Because remember, the big news with Jeff McNeil in spring training was not golfing as much anymore because he hurt his elbow. You need to make sure that he didn't continue that. I think that played into why he was playing so poorly. He's just a really good baseball player, and I'm glad that he's getting more playing time. I'm glad he's returned back to playing well. This team is significantly better when we have Jeff McNeil playing like he is every single day. He's rocking like an OPS plus, WRC plus at like 135, 140 right now. That's immensely valuable.
It's also amazing how much better Jeff McNeil's become over the last few years at swinging fewer pitches out of the strike zone. Because Jeff McNeil was always just a swing happy guy. If the pitch was near, he'd swing at it. He'd find a way to spot it, place it, and get a base hit. That's what made Jeff McNeil in the most recent part of his career like such a successful player. But that's not who he is anymore. Jeff McNeil is now a guy that is refusing to swing at pitches out of the strike zone, running by far the lowest chase rate of his career, one of the lowest chase rates in all of baseball. And he's doing something too where he's just, for lack of a better way to phrase this, such a bastard in the box. Like, he is such a tough at bat right now.
Such a little shit.
That first at bat against Chase Dolander Sunday was the moment where I was like, damn.
Foul ball.
Over and over again, worked a 10-pitch at bat until he finally got the pitch he could drive and just sent into the seats. And we got a note from friend of the podcast, Matt Eddy, editor-in-chief of Baseball Prospectus, where he was like,
Baseball America.
Baseball America, geez. Executive editor of Baseball America. It was Sunday night, big day of bowling in Arepas today. The night's gotten away from us here. But he was like, did anybody foul off more balls than Jeff McNeil? I feel like every single plate appearance is just foul ball, foul ball, foul ball. And I went on Baseball Savant and actually found out, for all players in baseball who've seen at least 200 pitches this season, Jeff McNeil is the third highest foul ball rate in the entire league, and something like 20%. It's like 24%, which is kind of shocking and hilarious. But Jeff McNeil this year has been incredible at wasting pitchers' pitches and just kind of waiting till he can get his spot to be able to pull a fly ball. Because that's the new Jeff McNeil that we're seeing. He's almost doing like Curtis Granderson shit right now.
Yes.
Where he's working these at-bats, long at-bats, and he's getting the pitch that he knows he can drive, because he has to get the pitch in that zone to really be able to get it out, and he's doing that well right now. I know these stats, of course, are padded by a sensational series in Coors Field, but that's what series in Coors Field are meant to do. Pad your stats a little bit, and Jeff used that to his advantage, and now he's like, he hit fifth on Sunday. Like, this is now suddenly a guy who's becoming a run producer in the middle of this lineup, and deservedly so.
Yeah, especially when Brandon Nimmo's still not completely back offensively, and we had,
even Brandon Nimmo's up to 720 OPS.
Sure,
like, this is now, like,
he's just not,
it's
he's
acceptable.
not where we want him to be, but he's
sure
fine right now. He's completely acceptable. But Jeff rocking a 14% walk rate, 8% strikeout rate.
That's stupid.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. You said he's not chasing. He's playing multiple positions for us. Granted, like, it may not be Gold Glove defense anymore. It may not be like the best center fielder, but he's going out there and just being a productive player. And Mets fans were so ready to get rid of this guy. I remember all you idiots were yelling at me and James, being like, Jeff McNeil, get him off this team. He's a problem, this and that. And we were banging the drum hard all offseason. We're like, Jeff McNeil's not going anywhere for two reasons. One, the contract. Two, he is a good baseball player. The Mets know that he has value to this team, and you see it's paying off right now.
Yeah, and then one more guy I want to talk about after the series, because, again, when you go to Coors Field, it's a great chance to pad your stats. And just a nice little peek to Juan Soto for a second, because Juan Soto, after getting on base 6 times on Sunday, getting on base, how many other times that Dodgers series? I think Juan Soto has now been on base. It's 19 times in 6 games here.
I'll get those numbers. You talk. I'll get
Yeah.
those numbers for you.
It's such a privilege again now to watch him in these plate appearances, because there's just nothing that the pitchers can do when he's going like this. And that game on Sunday was like a perfect example of where every single time that Juan Soto got a pitch outside the zone, he didn't swing at it. Every single time he got one in it, he took a hack at it. All 3 of the balls that Juan Soto put in play in this game were hit at least 100 miles an hour exit velocity. And his other 3 plate appearances, he took a walk. You know how crazy it is to be on base 6 times and not even be the one, like the 3rd or 4th most important player in your lineup that day? Like, that's incredible. And the fact that he was able to set up the bottom of this Mets lineup so well. This has kind of been a bit of the Achilles heel of the Mets team this whole year. Not the bit of, this has been the Achilles heel about how productive this lineup can be 5 through 9.
16 times, by the way, since June 2nd.
Yes, so that was 6 games, 16 times.
Yeah,
okay,
and he's had 26 at bats, so it's pretty good.
That's unbelievable. But the Mets scored 13 runs in a game where they got 0 RBIs from top 3 hitters in their lineup. That's crazy. It's almost impossible to think about. And all of that started with Juan Soto getting on base 6 straight plate appearances and allowing Alonso, McNeil, Mauricio, even Taylor, and then Beatty and Alvarez to be the guys who wound up cleaning up that mess and sending him home. Like, that's what Juan Soto is. That's when Juan Soto's doing his best shit. Like, that's the reason that we were so damn excited to get this guy in this lineup, because even when he's bad, he's good. And when he's good, he's great. And when he's great, he's the best hitter on fucking earth.
Yeah, the June slash line looks incredible. 346, 564 on base. 564 on base. He's on base 56% of the time in the month of June. 615 slugging. That's the Juan Soto experience, and I love it.
Yeah, and then a quick shout at the end of this little series recap here to Tyler McGill, because again, looked so good for a few innings, no hitter through 4, was striking out the world through the first 2, and then a little cue shot double, and you're like, now things are just kind of getting out of hand, and a little side spinner that Pete couldn't corral, and it's like, just please get through this 5th inning, man, get yourself the win.
Shout out Paul Blackburn.
Yeah, 4-inning save.
Yeah, 4-inning save. I
heard
listened to a little bit on the radio today while I jumped in the shower. I was doing some errands, so I had the radio on. Shout out Keith Rad and Pat McCarthy.
Pat McCarthy, baby.
They did a great job. But Keith was talking about, he's like, well, it's the 2nd inning and you're already getting the full Tyler McGill experience. He's like, he struck out the side in the first inning like it was absolutely nothing. And in the 2nd inning, what do you know? He's run into trouble somehow. He's like, I don't know how this happens.
Keith was killing me a few games ago because him and Pat McCarthy were talking. I think it was the last game of the Dodgers series about Beyblades. You remember Beyblades?
Oh, let it rip. Yeah.
Yes, let it rip. And they were talking about how they used to play Beyblades. And I texted Keith. I was like, hey, because every single time he does a game with Howie just basically berates him for being under 60 years old.
For not being born in the 50s.
He brings up celebrities who like I've never even come close to hearing about, like Melanie Griffin. I'm like, he talked about her for like 3 innings like last week. I was like, who are you talking about? But then I was like, now you got to make Howie feel old. You got to ask Howie about Beyblades and see what he has to say about that. But just quick note about McGill. Heavy slider in this game. Again, I don't know what the Mets saw about what this Rockies team could do between Friday and Saturday with McGill and Holmes, but they were just slider as much as possible. Threw 34 of them this game, 41% of the time. Most thrown pitch. Didn't think I'd ever see that be a Tyler McGill thing. Also, just the movement was clearly, he was losing 3 inches of vertical drop on that slider, which is funny because that's what makes that pitch so good. But I guess the Rockies are so bad, that's okay. It's just, it was a good reminder of exactly who Tyler McGill is. And I'm still hopeful. I still think when Frankie Montas comes back to his rotation, likely during that 10-game Brave Philly stand we're going to have next week after the 6-game homestand here, I think that he stays in it, and then we see what happens in about 3-4 weeks when Sean Manaea comes back.
Yeah, I guess we'll just worry about that problem when it comes. But yeah, Tyler McGill, it will never not be a roller coaster of emotions watching that guy pitch.
And every single time I'm like, it's really all there. It's really all there for him. Everything's here for the taking. It's going to happen one day. I know it is.
He's that sneaky ex-girlfriend texting you if you're up. You might be sometimes.
It's too much fun. But again, this is a great series. This is we just took care of business against a bad team. Like a lot of Mets fans were like, I hate playing bad teams. There's so much to lose playing the Rockies.
I loved it.
Beat the piss out of them 6 times in a row, basically. And this is so important too, because every team in the National League gets to play the Rockies 6 or 7 times. So if any team loses a game against the Rockies, whether it be the Braves, the Phillies, the Padres, the Giants, the Dodgers, now that's a game we have in hand because
chances are they
beat
won't
the team 6 times.
Yeah.
Yes, most likely. But I mean, I don't know. More Corey's chaos than this.
Phillies just got swept by the Pirates.
That's true. It's sad watching this Rockies team play. I feel bad.
Yeah,
I feel bad for the fans. I feel bad for the people. It's horrible.
It's definitely an unenjoyable experience. I mean, they had Orlando Arcia playing first base on Sunday. What the fuck? That's crazy.
I think he was just covering first. No way he actually played first.
He played first.
Stop.
Orlando Arcia was playing first on Sunday.
Oh my god, that's horrible.
Like, why? There has to be somebody else. There has to be. Where's Elleris Montero? He's got to be able to play first base.
I think they finally cut him last year, but I understand they want their prospect Ryan Rither to get the shortstop rep, see if he could be a shortstop, especially while Tovar's out.
Prospect, he's at 26, I think, but
good for Rockies. That's a prospect, and we got Tyro Estrada, who is still a good journman.
Yeah, no, he's a good baseball player.
Some late breaking news here. 10:51 p.m. article by The Athletic. Will Salmon, a little expose about what Alonso did this offseason to get his swing back.
Oh, maybe a special episode coming later this week about that.
Possibly, yeah. Or possibly a special episode coming later this week about some light Jacob deGrom rumors that are actually starting to trickle in, shockingly.
Oh, yeah?
I'm here for it.
I'm here for it. I still have tweets that go out at 2 a.m. every couple months about how much I miss Jacob deGrom, so I'm about it.
Yeah, and I don't think we got a media marvel this week. I mean, there's some people out there who are dying to be media marvels more and more, but we're not going to give them the satisfaction of mentioning the name on this show every episode.
But how much publicity can we say that you can meet him in the Mets parking lot on Thursday, which is insane, and we will not be doing that.
But again, Lions like us, we can't be giving fleas like this who are starved for more attention, especially when their own team can't beat their own rivals in their own home park. But let's get to our preview of the Washington National Series. The Mets getting a well-deserved day off on Monday. What are you going to do with the day off, Mark?
I'm actually probably going to get some YouTube videos done. Maybe throw. Oh wait, we have softball championship.
Yes, the replay of the softball championship.
I called out Koppel.
Worked out.
The next morning, bang, we got rescheduled. So just goes to show you, if you cause a big enough stink, change will happen.
That's it. If you got that kind of pull, you could do those things. But Tuesday, Mets are back in action, 7:10, Citi Field against the Nationals. Series going to be great. I feel like Citi Field is going to be rocking this whole weekend.
Yeah.
Bit of an ace-off Tuesday night. Griffin Canning versus Mackenzie Gore.
Ooh.
Wednesday, 7:10 again. This is a classic Mets-Nationals matchup. We get this 5 times a year. David Peterson versus Jake Irvin.
Jake
It's the
Irvin.
third time they face
7
each other
innings,
this year.
125 pitches.
And then we got a little alliteration. Thursday matinee. Kodai Senga versus Michael Soroka.
Oh, is Soroka back? Is he?
Last start was great on Friday night against wasn't the Tigers. That was Ben Brown.
Texas.
Crushed the Tigers. Against the Rangers. Yeah, he went 7 scoreless. Soroka is doing the thing where we've talked about it a little bit on this show, where if you're a pitcher, you're kind of always trapped in your fastball shape just because you throw so much when you grow up pitching, and then you throw so many fastballs when you grow up pitching that your arm kind of finds the same groove, kind of like, I don't know, kind of like when you have a couch in your living room for 25 years and you pick it up, you're like, wow, it indented the floor.
Yeah.
That's kind of the concept of what your arm does every single time over and over again when you throw it. But when you stop throwing for an extended period of time, like Mike Soroka did when he had an Achilles injury, and then Tommy John surgery, if I'm not mistaken, back to back to back, you're kind of able to reshape your pitches and kind of find new ways to pitch. And Soroka's done that in a pretty amazing way over the last few years, because when he came into the league, he was a sinker slider guy. And now he's a four-seam fastball hound. That's all he does now. He's added some more depth to his slider too. Baseball savants calling it a slurve. That fastball, it's still not amazing. I think it flashes at times. I think he's still trying to get a grip for it. It's still 94 miles an hour with just it's a shape that's really pushing, trying to be plus, but it's not quite there yet. But the way he's throwing that slurve now, the way he's still mixing the sinker and the changeup, he has him in his back pocket. He's definitely, I find myself rooting for Mike Soroka because of how much he's been through.
Hope the Mets shit on him.
100%. I'm saying in general, in the lexicon of all baseball.
I know.
In general, a guy's gone through that much shit. Like I want to see you succeed. Because also Mackenzie Gore is on this team. We're facing him Tuesday.
Yeah.
We've got to avoid him to this point facing the Nationals. We didn't face him this year, right? No Gore.
I don't think we faced
I don't
Gore.
remember. I don't think so. He's turned himself into the prince that was promised. Probably, objectively speaking, the 11th, the 12th best pitcher in baseball right now. Run the highest strikeout rate in the league right now. It's 36%. That's rivaling Tarek Skubal. He's still walking his fair share of guys. That's still the Mackenzie Gore special, but it's 97-mile-an-hour gas on the left side. It's a ridiculous curveball. It's a new slider, too, this year. He's added some more depth to that pitch, taking a few ticks off it. That's kind of been the bridge in his repertoire between that awesome high-riding fastball and like the hard-dropping curveball. The guy's awesome. If you guys haven't watched Mackenzie Gore this year, I think Tuesday night will be a very fun watch.
Also, on the hitting side, just again, obligatory drooling over James Wood and CJ Abrams, two of the best young players in baseball. James Wood is maybe one of the 20 best players in baseball already, and he's age 22, 16 homers, 16 doubles, 45 RBIs, 9 stolen bases, 907 OPS. Again, at 22 years of age. CJ Abrams, when he's staying away from the roulette table, is an incredible baseball player as well.
I'm sure he is.
I'm sure he's good on the roulette table too, but 800 OPS. He's playing better defense. He's running like crazy, hitting for power. Good baseball player. This is a weird Nationals team, though, again, where they've had some injuries. There's a lot of young guys up again, like Robert Hassel's been up. Dalen Lyle had gotten a call up at some point. I know they've been giving Trey Lipscomb some looks. They're going to throw a bunch of guys at you. They're pesky. They're way better than, again, you probably think they are. They're like 30-34 or 30-35, I think, on the season.
They're 30-35. I'm trying to think of like a team to compare them to. But also cool note about James Wood. He's having this, I'm not even going to call it a breakout because he was really good as a rookie. Now he's just really good in his second year. I don't think there'll ever be a time he's not really good for the next 15 years. We're going to watch baseball.
Yeah, he's breaking out from being good to now you're like, oh, fuck.
Like this guy probably should start the All-Star game. And while he's doing that, he still is not pulling any fly balls in the air. Just a 9% pulled fly ball rate, one of the lowest in the whole league. The fact that he's found a way to hit 16 major league home runs in fewer than 300 plate appearances without pulling fly balls, it's disgusting what he's able to do. And the player that he's going to be able to become is going to be really scary to deal with.
32 extra base hits in 64 games is crazy.
Jeez, that's freaking crazy.
But it's so good.
The Nationals they're a pesky team. Like if you're going to root for a bad team, like if you're going to be a fan of a bad team, the Nationals are the ones where I'd be like, yeah, I'm down for that. Because Nationals also, outside of, they started the year off very slow. Yes. They were like 3-9 or something. Then they had that 7-game losing streak in the beginning of May. Since the middle of May, this is a team that's over 500. They're a team that ran through the Orioles. They're a team that's been playing the Braves a lot and beating them a good bit. Like they're a good. They won a series out in Seattle against a good Mariners team. Like this is not a team that is to be trifled with. I know we just played 3 games of not real baseball, coming off the high of playing a really tight 4-game Dodger series. Like this is a big 6-game homestand for the Mets to show up and like really nail down how hot they've actually been.
Yeah, just keep swinging it. I mean, we're the better team. Keep swinging it, pitching well. Mets will come out with a series victory for sure. Do we have Frankie Peppers for us here to end the episode?
We do have Frankie Peppers.
All
End
right.
the episode. Nice minute of Frankie.
Let's get some Frankie.
Gentlemen, this is Frankie Peppers. How you doing?
How you doing?
I don't really have much to say because we did exactly what we needed to do. Go in there, sweep the Rockies, take care of business. A big congratulations to Big Meat Pete Alonso. Second place all time on the Mets home run list, and first place is very much within his grasp in the next few weeks. I want to tell you about something I saw earlier today. So I took a little trip over to New Haven. I love that city. Went and got some coffee, and then I was walking around. I saw a pickleball court, and on the pickleball court, right outside, there were some drawings of some animals, but the animals looked like people, and they had.
Is that the end of the message?
Is that it?
Is that it? You're going to leave us with a cliffhanger?
There's 20 seconds left.
We'll call them interesting proportions. I don't want to, be vulgar or anything here, but there's some interesting proportions, and I'd like to know if you boys know anything about that because I saw that and I just got very confused. Anyway, gentlemen, appreciate you as always. Let's go Mets. Did what we needed to do on to the next series. Take care, boys.
Was there whiskey? Was there whiskey in that
know
coffee?
about these? How are we supposed to know what these animals look like with their interesting proportions? Were these like humanified animals?
Yeah,
like is this
like animals drawn with interesting proportions? Maybe it was an Irish coffee, right? I mean,
hopefully based on that conversation.
We've met Frankie. He's a chill guy.
we should maybe talk for like 2 more minutes about Pete Alonso being the second in the Mets all-time home run list. We really breezed past that kind of easily. I know we were like,
I don't know. You want to know why? Because it's like I want to talk about when he gets first. Because then we can do the whole Glaze Fest. But yeah, he's a beast.
I think the fact that it's David Wright is kind of cool. I mean, I don't know. It's amazing to think about like where Pete Alonso started his career when he came up in 2019. That right now he has more home runs than David Wright.
Yeah, no, it shouldn't make sense. That's not how it should be. David Wright should have 400 home runs.
Yeah, like that is breaking my brain. And I guess it is kind of funny. The top 2 guys on this Mets all-time home run list are really 2 huge, like, would have, could have, should have stories, like real big what ifs between Wright and Strawberry for the way Strawberry's career started as well. I was watching a Nationals-Marlins game of like a month ago now, and the Marlins announcer, I forgot who it was, but one of the color guy was really comparing James Wood to young Strawberry, just about how long his arms were and the way he could get through the zone, and he didn't even need pull power to actually access real power, just because of how strong and like fast he was and he was able to turn those hips. And it's cool. It is cool that no matter what happens after this season, like Pete Alonso has firmly and for sure etched his name in the Mets history books, and that's something that is. We're going to remember Pete Alonso forever, no matter how this happens. Hopefully he's a Met forever too, because he's one of those guys to be a forever Met. He could be the first forever Met. Shout out Don LaGreca, the better half right there, because it's like that is the moment. That's the guy who could be. Like he could be our forever Met.
He's your forever Met?
Cool, dude.
Ed Kranepool? Oh, R.I.P. Ed.
Yeah, but this is what Pete can be. So as he keeps climbing this list, and we get closer and closer to him getting 253, which is so low for the Mets all-time home run record.
Shockingly low.
But that's where we're at. So it makes me feel old. I'm sure it makes you feel old as well if this is happening. Pete Alonso's 7 years into this career, but I'm happy for Pete because I think Pete has earned it. He's worked really hard. He deserves this. He's playing so fucking good right now. He's carrying this team.
Give him all the money. That's my take now. Is I'd pay him. What does he want? Got it.
Give him 3% more than the market value. How about that?
And I'm cool with it, and Pete should be cool with it, and Mets fans should be cool with it. I'm just gonna keep this in the podcast. I don't know what the hell was in that Venezuelan food we ate, but I feel like I'm on drugs. I'm so tired.
Shout out the Arepa Cafe in South Astoria, because that's some of the best food I've ever had in New York.
So good.
For an affordable price, and with a great vibe in there too. There was a birthday party going on. There was incredible Venezuelan music. That place is so fucking good. And happy for us that we're exploring more Queens.
Yeah, and I'm going to take such a good sleep tonight after eating that food. It's so good. I feel like my eyes weigh 1,000 pounds. So if we were low energy, that's why it was also the Rockies. Perfect time. I don't know. Maybe in the spirit of Denver. Who knows? But anyway, guys, that's all we got for you on this episode. Make sure you are subscribed to the Messed Up Podcast YouTube channel if you have not yet done so. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google. Drop us a ring, drop us a review, download, and subscribe. Follow us on all our social media at Mets'd Up on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You can follow James at
James Shiano.
And I'm Draftnik Mark with a C. Thank you guys for listening and watching. We will catch you all after the National Series. Maybe before. We might have a special episode. Who knows? We'll see you then. Peace out.
Peace out, guys. Let's go Mets.